Okay, a little bit of a strange video today. I'm going to unbox a phone, but this is a phone I bought several years ago. So way back, I kind of thought I was going to get a lot more into reviewing things. In fact, I did get really into reviewing things. And so I was reviewing products from Banggood, from GearBest, and other places like that. And after a while, I kind of felt like I was losing my objectivity. So I stopped doing it. But I still had some products that I'd ordered that were on the water. And this is one of them. This is the SERVO phone with fan and pen and photography and recording and MP3, MP4. It's basically, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. It's a phone that's also a pen. And it's got a little personal fan. I think it's got a camera as well. Can't remember exactly how much I paid for this. I thought this was going to be out of production and you wouldn't be able to buy this anymore. But actually, turns out you can buy this still. It's around about 20 quid, which is unbelievably cheap for something that's a phone and all these other things. I mean, what doesn't it do? I realise that packaging's not playing very well on the camera, but it says SERVO K08, not only a pen, but a fan or a mobile phone. BT phone and dialer, I presume that means Bluetooth phone and dialer, so you could use this as an accessory for your existing phone, I think, or I think you can put a SIM card inside it. 0.96 inches length only. Well, I don't think that's correct. Weight 43 grams, 1100 milliamp hour lithium battery, special OLED display, dual SIM and memory card supported, made in China. Not a lot else to say on the back there, so let's see what we get. So there's some sort of lid there. There's a short micro USB cable, very short. There's a stylish orange lanyard thing. All important instructions. There are English instructions. I'm not sure how good they're going to be, but we'll see. There's the phone itself. We'll have a look at that in just a moment. And there's a battery. Oh, and there's some pen refills. So not a lot of ink in those, but then I suppose you wouldn't use it as a pen all the time, would you? And this is the battery. It's a little battery pack, so it's not just a... I was expecting that this might have one of those soft lithium packs in it, but there's a little battery pack. It's probably got like a AA size lithium battery inside it. Now, it's important to note this has been sitting in a cupboard for 2 or 3 years, so the battery might not be the best anymore. And here's the device. Stylish sort of sports car red finish. A little bit of a... wasn't popped together there, the plastic. I expect we'll have to open that in a minute. So let's have a little look around the device. So we've got the screen, which is 1 inch diagonal with the SERVO logo underneath this curved plastic here. A little keypad that's flicky, tactile little switches. Not too bad, actually, even for my sausage fingers. I can press the right buttons there. Buttons for camera, music, fan. And then presumably these are function buttons related to the screen. On the back there's a camera lens, a tiny little pinhole, so I imagine this is like a webcam type camera in there. There is a micro USB charging port right there. And then on the top here, oops, I don't think that was meant to happen. A tiny little personal fan with vinyl blades. So the bottom would have that cap on it. That wouldn't fit as it was in packaging, so that's why they shipped it without the cap attached. Okay, well, let's see what we got inside. So the back comes off nice and easily. Wow, look at that, yeah. 2 SIM slots and a micro SD card. I think before we do anything else, we'll just see if it powers up. There might be a bit of charge left in this battery. Now, when it was just on its own, it did feel like a very cheap piece of junk. But now it's got the battery in there, it does actually feel like not a bad product. It feels like it's got the right amount of heft for something that's meant to be a phone. I don't know how you switch it on. That button maybe? I'm expecting we'll have a little chime because that's how these things normally go. Or maybe it's that button. Is that? Is that actually a directional, like a D-pad type of thing? I don't know if it is or not. It does appear to have. Yeah, I think that's a little D-pad. Okay, can't actually see a power button. I will try pressing and holding each of the buttons in turn. Might just be that the battery is completely flat, and it might be this battery is beyond being charged. Right, okay, well I think I'll put that on charge, and we'll see what happens. I'll give that a couple of hours on charge. Yeah, I am very smart. I didn't read the instructions, but that doesn't matter. There's nothing in the instructions about installing the battery or turning it on, so it doesn't even identify where the power switch is. So I put the battery in and charged it for several hours, and just literally no sign of life. Tried mashing all the buttons, tried a different charging cable, tried the supplied charging cable. Nothing seemed like it was going to work. I was discussing this battery with the folks on Discord, and I went to take a picture of it to show them what the battery was like. And only then did I notice I am very smart. There's Kapton tape over the terminals to protect them against shorts in transit. So that bit of tape needs to come off of those terminals. So anyway, let's try powering this up now. It might power up on the charge that's in the battery. Let's see what happens, if anything. So now I've got to go through all that whole rigmarole again. Oh, actually, it might need the case to be shut. There's a pair of little spring terminals there that make contact with the case. That might just be that the antenna is built into the back of the case there, or it might be that it needs that to be closed before it can come to life. Or, you know, it might still be dead. Let's try pressing and holding. Oh, servo, here we go. Teeny tiny screen. I'm going to have to get my reading glasses. Oh, look at that. There's a little desktop and everything. A little colour OLED screen. I think that's OLED. Viewing angle on that is pretty terrible. But we've got... Yeah, that is a D-pad because I'm going back and forth. Backlight on the buttons. I don't know if you can see that. There's a blue LED backlight on the buttons. So we've got... Ooh. Power on Bluetooth first. No. Back. Right. Okay, so menu. We've got phone book, call center, messaging, multimedia. You can watch video files on this little screen. Oh, messaging, call center, phone book. Oh, hang on, this is weird. Organizer, settings, organizer, BT dialer. Seems a bit random actually. I don't know if I'm mashing more than one button here because there are 4 buttons underneath that thing, I think. Wow. It's actually a little phone. Okay. It's got 3 bars out of 4 or something. It looks like it's nearly charged. First thing we've got to see is what's this fan like. So short press to see the fan. No, long press to have the... Oh, there it is. Do you know what? That's actually not bad. I don't know how much battery life you get. But there we go. The fan is a fan. Wow. Okay, let's try taking a picture. Yeah, it's got a little kind of weird viewfinder there. Oh, look at the tearing on the screen there when I do that. Please insert memory card. Okay, well, right. Now that I know this is working, I'm going to give it a proper charge. Then we'll open it up. We'll put a SIM card in it. We'll try making phone calls. And we'll put a memory card in it and see if it can play video and take pictures and maybe even record video. I don't know. We are, I think, fully charged. So time to give this a run. I'll turn it off first. So it is that is the power button now. No little chime or thing. And we didn't have one on startup. Slight disappointment, really. Okay, while we've got the battery out, oh, I could have done it without the battery out. Okay, I think we'll also install one of these ballpoint nibs. Oh, fan's fallen off again. Let's leave that off for now. Right, I haven't tested the pen. That's important. It's a pen. Well, that's interesting. I thought that was going to be blue, but it's actually black. It's a nice pen, actually. Pleasant to write with. Right, anyway, there's a micro SD slot here, which I think might be a little bit awkward to install the card in. I've got a SanDisk 32 gig thing. I hope that's not too big for this thing to recognise. I think we just lay that down in there. And then clip that shut. That wasn't too bad. I'm tempted to put a SIM in there. I think we'll do that later. Oh, that's interesting. So that's where the lanyard clips on. That's what that little hole is for. And let's see what happens when we try to play a music file. So, empty. Huh. Now I did put the music in a folder, so maybe this thing can't navigate folders. I also have an MP4 file on there, so it's not finding that either. It says it's an MP4 player, but I don't know that it is. Oh, multimedia, there we go. Oh, file manager. There's a file manager? Memory card. Well, look at that. It does actually move to memory card, my music. Okay, so now, don't seem to be able to get it to play anything. Local list empty. So that was an MP3 file on that. That should have found it. Okay, let's try something else then. Let's try multimedia. Video recorder. Wow. You can record video on this. I could make a video using this. Video player. No files. Darn it. Okay, I'm going to go and tinker with the SD card. Maybe it doesn't like that size of SD card. I might have to see if I can find an old one that's smaller. But actually, hang on. No, because the file manager managed to find the SD card, so it's not that. So I think what we'll do, multimedia. Wow, this is too fiddly for my fat thumbs. Okay, video recorder. There it is. Is that recording? It is now. That's recording video at potato resolution, I imagine. I will replay this video. You better see it in its full whatever resolution glory. It is now. That's recording video at potato resolution. Can I go to video player? Yeah, so okay, so I know what type of file it will play now. That's good. There it is, with little controls and everything. That's recording video at potato resolution. Right, so it records and plays video. I'm not sure how useful that would ever be. It doesn't have a sensor in there, does it? No. Well, we couldn't play that at full screen, could we? Of course. Right, well, that was a nice little surprise, wasn't it? Okay, so somewhere there's an audio recorder, sound recorder, new recording. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. So now, if I go to music, if I go back there and press music, still nothing to play. So, I don't know. Anyway, going to do a little bit of tinkering and then we can see what we can play back on this. So, can't get it to play video properly, which is a shame. It'll play video that's recorded on the device, but despite saying it's an MP4 player, I think they're using MP4 player as a kind of generic term. It doesn't play MP4 video, even like 144p. Well, it kind of does play. It just doesn't render the video. So that joke fell flat. Okay, now that video that we recorded earlier was under the studio lights, which should be bright enough for decent video, but I thought just to give it a fair test, it's a bright sunny day outside. I will take this outside and record some video in the garden.
Hello?
I suppose we should also test still photos on this camera. Is that supposed to be a shutter noise? Let's take a picture of something that's got, let's say, some text on it. Okay, well I actually am going to install my SIM card in this and we'll see what the phone call quality is like. I imagine this is only going to be 2G, but then again, what would you need more than 2G for on a phone like this? Okay, well, SIM card installed. Okay, searching Vodafone UK. Well, there you go. So it has found my SIM and it's found a network. So I don't know if we're going to get any information about what kind of connection it's got. Maybe somewhere in the settings. So this navigation button, you've got a button in the middle, but then you also have this navigation ring around the outside, which is actually rather difficult to press without pressing the button in the middle. I wonder if there's any FM radio. What? It's got FM radio as well. You're kidding me. Around every corner on this phone there is a please plug in earphone. Plug in where? There is no earphone socket. It might just be that that FM radio function here is something that's on the general OS they've got on this phone, but not implemented in this device. I don't know that we're going to test that today. Now, it did occur to me that this problem with the FM radios of this type that you find in a phone need the headphone jack plugged in because they use the wire as an antenna. There is no headphone jack on this, nowhere to plug one in. I suspect this is just the chipset has been used for multiple different models of phones and various different players, and this one doesn't have the hardware to support the option that's there in the software kind of as a standard. It did occur to me that maybe they'd implemented that on the USB cable, but I don't think so, because usually when it says it wants the wire plugged in, it means there's a little sensor on the jack plug that obviously isn't present here. So I think the processor is waiting for a sensor input from a jack plug, which doesn't exist on this hardware implementation. But anyway, just to show you, yeah, so that doesn't work. I can't find anything that's going to tell me about the SIM, about the phone connection we've got, but let's just try phoning the speaking clock. I don't want to save it, I want to dial it. Have I got to add something to the phone book to dial it? Can I not just... unable to connect? Okay, it might be because I'm in a bit of a dead spot. I'm going to go and try it over by the window and I'll let you know how that works.
At the third stroke, the time will be 3:50.
There we go, that works. It's incredibly faint. Hang up. Of course, dial and hang up. I'd forgotten how dumb phones worked. But there we go. Dial and hang up buttons. The other thing I almost forgot to look at is the organizer. So there's an organizer on here which has got a magic voice. Don't know what that is. Probably a voice note or something like that. We'll have a look at it in a minute. A calendar which is just so tiny. It thinks it's June 2019 because I haven't set the date. But you can navigate around this calendar with this kind of D-pad ring thing here. It's got an alarm. You can have 5 different alarms. It's got a calculator. So I presume we can say 85. Yeah. Oh, it's very awkward to use. Plus 65. Yeah. Very awkward to use. Remote notifier. Oh, okay, so that's something to do with the Bluetooth thing. Remote something. Remote capture. Again, that's probably going to tell me, yeah, install Bluetooth notifier in remote. Okay, what else? Fan is in the organizer. Magic voice. Wait a minute, it's a voice changer. It's got a voice changer built into it. I probably can't test that without the phone function, but there we go. You can have none, men, women, or child. So it's got a voice changer built into it. Around every corner, there is another little feature. What's amazing to me about this phone is not that it's got all these features. A lot of these features are just crammed into this kind of chipset, this kind of design, whatever, this system on a chip that they're using and the software that they're using. What's amazing to me is that this thing is a phone, a pen, and a fan, and it says so on the packaging, but the packaging doesn't make any mention of all of these other weird little features. It seems to me like they could have emblazoned this packaging with all these different features, and that would have made it more attractive and appealing. I don't know, maybe less is more sometimes. The English instructions are actually quite lucid and readable. There's no serious gaps of language in there. There's no silly mistranslations. But I would say that probably what's wrong with these instructions is they're just not very complete. It doesn't tell you how to switch it on, for example. So yeah, instructions are very readable, but just a bit slim. So what are we going to say about this device? It doesn't do anything well, except maybe the fan. Actually, the fan's not bad at all. It doesn't do anything very well, but I can't possibly hate it because it tries so very hard to do so many things. It's quite funny, really. I kind of love it because it's trying to be everything and not quite succeeding at any of them. And I like that. So there we go. That's the SERVO K08. Phone, pen, radio, camera, fan. Bit of a retro review. I don't think I can recommend that you go out and buy this unless you just want to laugh. So I don't know what I'll do with this. I'll probably donate it. Somebody will have some fun with it somewhere. That's all for now then. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.